Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is time for game quad. I didn't want to say four twice. I just wanted to change up the words. I've been struggling at saying words this evening, so I thought, you know, I'd jump into the thesaurus. The do you think-isaurus? Do you think anyone heard that? I know that they all did. Because, Skimmy, as you mentioned, we do have a lot of people in chat tonight, and I hope they are having a damn good time because they still do have time to make a bit of extra content. If you guys want to send in content at LCO, hashtag LCO, and you could be like, boom, this guy, Lorenzo the Kind. Another one. He's come up twice tonight with the goods. I finished, I said I finished, but it's only been 15 minutes. Wow, okay, so Peace, very happy with the speed of the game. Their W that they needed today, get with the fastest game in the league so far for Split 2. Topical meme here in the UK, A-level results came out today. Ooh, I think A-levels, for everyone that's here, it's like your HSC, your, what are they called in Victoria? Juice?
VCE.
VCE, you know, those ones, your ATARs, your whatever it was before that.
I don't know, man. I didn't do year 12.
Yeah, it's something.
Be your NCA in New Zealand, so there you go. For your high school qualifications.
We've got qualifications all over the shop, and I think we've got qualifications for another meme too. So let's jump on over to meme number 2 here. It is from your boy, or your girl actually, Mez2017, which is Pabu's mother. So we love Pabu, and we love Nami. PGG Nami is not impressed that she has to stay awake until 9 PM. Looking forward to the next W for the team. Will it be tonight? Oh, well, I hope so, because they definitely need this W tonight to stay ahead of Chiefs, or things could get a little bit sticky between the two. Now, of course, everyone's been tagged there, so thank you very much, Meredith, for that one. We've loved it, we've liked it, and now everyone's been able to see it as well. And Nami, I hope you have a good sleep tonight, mate, because you look very, very tired. Now, time to talk the game. Of course, it is going to be Chiefs and Pentanet going head-to-head, but let's talk Chiefs first. Jubes, tell me what they need to do to get this W. And look, they've been playing out of their minds recently, so are they going to be able to do it today?
Well, I think they need to get their kind of niche picks, in the sense that, like, they have some very obvious picks that work for them that aren't necessarily bannable. Particularly, you know, in the jungle, Lift has been an absolute monster, to be fair, in a majority of the games where they've had a lot of success. Dragku as well. So, I mean, they just need to stick to their bread and butter, what works for them, and stick to the same style, right? The one where they put a big emphasis on mid lane, and they really just get bodies there and influence those early game skirmishes. Because Kisei with the lead will always be able to carry a game.
Definitely think that that could be a possibility. Now we need to talk the big dogs in the league. One of the top of the table teams, they need this W to stay up there as well, because of course Order got that W earlier on this evening. No, they didn't. Oh, what am I thinking? I'm living in the alternate reality. Direwolves beat Order. So at the moment, if Pentanet don't get the win and Chiefs get the win, then we've got a 3-way tie at the top of the table going into tomorrow, and that could get a little bit sticky again. So, wow, okay, my mind was just blown. I've been asleep all night. I need another coffee, and it's 9 PM, of course, to get through the rest of the night. But look, here's team 2. You got Pentanet.gg. We love to see them. We love to see them play, and we always love the pre-game interviews they provide as well, don't we, Skim?
We certainly do, because these boys are as charismatic as it comes, right? I'm sure for the international audience, not really paying attention to the region, they saw them at MSI. They loved what they provided to us. We obviously enjoyed it as well, seeing all the memes and all the excitement surrounding us as a region. They've come back, and whilst it's a bit of a slow start, they just had a 10-win streak dismantled by Order. But as you mentioned, right, if Chiefs win here today, it becomes this really confusing situation for the league admins to figure out as to, you know, which way was the wind blowing out on this given day, as to who again gets the first place and who claims second. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Coming from this way, what's that? Westerly. We got a couple of
westerlies. Is that blue or red side?
It's something. I don't know which way's north in the rift. There's no compass, so maybe we'll never know. However, someone that might know is Nat. So let's bring Nat in. And come on, you have done a bit of orienteering before. So can you tell me which way's up in the rift?
Blue, definitely. Only because.
But which way's north?
Blue. Wouldn't you say up is north?
Isn't the
blue?
red tip north?
You know what? I just said blue because so far we've had 3 blue side wins.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay.
That's why I think blue is up.
All right, you drive a hard bargain, Nat, but who do you have to at least give us a bit of crazy entertainment, hopefully a bit of banter for the pregame?
You know, I could ask them which way's up in the Rift as well, but I'm going to be joined by Draco and Chaz. Draco, I guess I'll ask you first. Which way is up in the Rift?
I don't really know. I guess whoever shows up on the day today.
That is totally fair. I guess, how are the Chiefs boys feeling? Are you guys feeling that this is your day to take it?
Well, you know, like, the normal answer is yes, but I do think PGG are actually quite a hard opponent, so I just think it's whoever plays better today will most likely take it.
Okay, we've heard that, you know, a lot of people talking about that this is Chiefs patch. Do you think you have that patch advantage over PGG today, or again, do you just stick by the fact that it is whoever's turning up today?
I don't really know if it's Chiefs patch. I think every team actually...
Okay.
I think it's more like control mage meta, and I guess that's one of the stuff that we lack right now. But I think the last patch was definitely Chiefs patch, but not this one.
Okay, interesting. Chaz, over in PGG, first of all, how are the spirits down there in the team with the boys?
They definitely changed over the last week. I think we've been a bit cocky, not playing very disciplined for the last month or so. So everyone's been trying to hold themselves accountable to their mistakes and scrims and not giving away useless deaths. I think we probably shouldn't have lost that order game. So everybody had a long chat, and so there's been a lot of frustration coming out through scrims. Just making sure we just holding ourselves accountable and not giving away useless deaths, useless towers, just over pointless mistakes that people are just playing cocky. So the spirits are still high, but we're definitely trying to be more disciplined. So it's been a big cultural change over the past week, which has been very good for us.
Yeah, I think that was quite shocking. You know, you had said in a previous interview that you wouldn't lose a game to order, and then in the last time you guys were facing each other, that all went a little bit south for you. But I guess talking about scrims, I want to know a little bit more about scrims and preps, because in the past you've talked about how much you guys have kind of struggled to find scrims. So are they there this week, and are they going the way you're expecting?
We always get scrims. I don't think I've said that. We get scrims every day. We have one break day on Saturday, and every other day we are practicing. So we do that every day, no matter what. I think that might be a misquote from someone else.
Alrighty, and Draco, how are preps and scrims going for you guys over at Chiefs?
Oh, well, we scrim every day as well. We just have one break day, and I guess we're just trying to find what works leading into playoffs. We don't really have many styles, but we're trying to find new styles, and we're practicing a lot of comps. So, hopefully today we can experiment something.
I'll look forward to seeing what both sides are going to bring to today's game. I'll let you guys go. Good luck, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Always good to hear from the boys that scrims are going swimmingly, it sounds. So that brings, of course, us to the predictions. So let's have a quick look at which way we all think this one's going to go. Is it going to be spicy already? Bit of spice on the first page. I love it. I love it. I hate this boring, everyone picks the same damn team thing. Now, Skimmy, you've gone for Chiefs here. Tell me why.
Well, I've always coined them as a team that are very explosive and very early game oriented, looking for first bloods and whatnot. And whilst I feel like they kind of fell off a bit in recent times, you heard it there from Draco, right? Looking to try and practice some new styles. And we always wondered if they were going too far down as one particular way, and when it came to playoffs, they would run out of steam. I think as much as other teams now start to say 11-15, it's our patch. Chiefs were the originals to call it as that. And I think if there's ever a team that can sort of recapture that early game elegance, then I think it would be them.
Okay, and Jubes, other side of the coin, tell me.
I just think that the loss to order is going to do Pentanet a world of good. They're going to be able to really fix their problems. Like Chaz said, they're getting a little bit arrogant, a little bit cocky, which is funny because they said they never lose a game or never lose the order. So it's so funny, and I love the PGG guys, but yeah, I just think they're going to really figure it out, and those deep and meaningful conversations.
Oh, and page 2, boring. Nat, you, Rusty, and Elfish Guy all on the same page.
Yeah.
Are you just sending your predictions to each other all the time, and picking Pentanet together?
No, I just put my faith in the players that they're gonna win it for me. But I guess like coming out of that interview, I'm even more like I guess confident in my pick for PGG. Draco didn't seem too confident for the Chiefs. So it's gonna be a really interesting game because I thought Chiefs would be a little bit more on top of their, I guess like in higher spirits seeing PGG fall to order last week.
Well, let's see who has the highest spirits because, ladies and gentlemen, Champ Select is already ready. Not going to keep you waiting any longer. It's going to be huge. Chiefs and Pensnet going head-to-head now.
Well, Juice, it's blue side. The Chiefs are blue. Every team that have won this week, or today, actually, I should say, I mean, it is this week, let's be honest, has been blue. I want to see the Chiefs win. Can they look to try and do something crazy here? Because they have in the past, right? Let's date our mind back to that crazy game where they played the likes of Evelyn and the Trindamere. The next game afterwards was a little bit more standard, but yeah, I mean, this is certainly a team that, whilst they have the pressure on them, they're not afraid to do wild things if necessary.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the type of team, you know, we have teams in the league in general that play different things, play wacky things and get away with it. But I think Chiefs are the team in our top 3 that are the guys that get away with playing like different stuff. You know, they made the Kindred work, they made the Evelyn work, they've made the Heimerdinger work. There's so much that they've made work because that's just what their bread and butter is, that's what their niche is. And I don't think they should try and fight it. I think they should actually lean into it. And when it's up, when it's available, take it. Obviously, Evelyn being banned away, can't pick that one up. But I mean, same gist, right? Let's get those drafts going for them. They even played the Aurelia, the Sejuani. Like, if that works for you, grab that.
Now we're just blitzing through this draft, are we? There's no time to talk about things because we've got to look to, quickly talk about what we have on our screen. There's a Trundle locked in. We know that Chiefs can flex into the top side. Liv has played it numerous times, but you'd imagine it's probably going to be a play that delivered Trundle pillar from Parvu. Kind of crazy that they've locked in Ashe this early on. I wonder what Praetor knows that we don't, because it feels like when there's all these other champions available, you'd much rather that, but perhaps the fact that Varus has been denied away, you just want some hard CC engage from your bot lane.
I think Ashe is pretty good right now. Ashe has some like very good laning phases. Well, I don't think Ashe actually loses lane into anything at the moment.
Yeah.
She's always had like a very strong lane, and that's part of the reason why you pick her. Plus, the arrow is like a very good engage tool. And I think in this particular game, laning into the Varus, the Ashe is going to have a good time as well. Obviously, in terms of positioning, in terms of what are you going to have to help you out? It's going to be tough. Like, he's going to have a Nautilus running at him, potentially a Camille on the flank. So Praetor's going to have to do some of his best work. But I mean, the Ashe just is a utility AD carry that doesn't need to 1v9 and can start fights for you, can disengage, can kite back. Like, there's a lot that Ashe offers that your traditional AD carry doesn't. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot more Ashe being played. And if she does get a lead, she can run away with the game too. That's not to say she can't do any damage, but she obviously doesn't do as much damage as your Aphelios, your Xayahs, even your Ezreals, but the utility is what she makes up for.
So just have a little bit of utility as you touch on, and quickly talk about some of these bans. The fact that Liv locked himself in with the Camille, no surprises then that the bans were there to protect him with the Renekton and Jax denied. The LeBlanc as well, also a comfort pick that we know that Kisei loves to play. He's actually going to almost flip the script here and say, no, I'm going to play Twisted Fate. I've now become a bit of a utility player when called upon.
The Twisted Fate blinds a little bit. Ooh.
Well,
that's interesting.
This may just be a Biopanther Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, Mordekaiser's a weird one because it hasn't been picked by many people or at all in the LCO. But historically, Mordekaiser's had a pretty good time into Camille. And obviously Camille being picked up this early, that's kind of his counter pick of choice. But I'm interested to see how it works because you can run the risk of falling behind and then all of a sudden like the Mordekaiser doesn't really have the best time. But as I'm churning these thoughts out in my head, Skimmy, the Mordekaiser makes a bit of sense because if you get isolated versus the Camille and you're trying to stop her in the side lane, you can take them into the Death Realm and win the 1v1 whilst you're getting 1v2.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of where their mind's at, right? They want to get something that will be able to survive in a side lane, and you can never really dive or play through him because he will always be able to trade back or at least make himself safe.
I did a quick check there, Jules, as you were talking about whether or not we had seen it, and we did actually from Legacy against Pentanet. It was that game where Winterer played it into Biopepper playing the time Kench. That was the Wombo combo comp, if you remember.
Did they get slapped?
Yeah. But it was played there, so there's a very small sample rate if that accounts for anything. But we're starting to get that new identity of these champions that have been buffed in 11-15 starting to come on through. The return of scaling mid lane mages like the Victor. How do we see this one playing out, given that Kisei picked this Twisted Fate so early on?
Well, Twisted Fate isn't necessarily the way that we see Kisei play the game, right?
No.
Like he's the mechanics max. I'm gonna outplay you. I'm gonna out team fight you. I'm gonna out skirmish you. Where it's like Twisted Fate doesn't really have much of that available. You know, the person who's most famous that we see play a lot of Twisted Fate right now is Faker, but he doesn't have like standout games on Twisted Fate. He doesn't have, you know, montages, at least in recent weeks, where he's just doing these ridiculous things. He's literally just playing side lane, using his macro knowledge, and he's just gold carding the correct members in team fights. It's never about doing the most damage. You're never going to do the most damage on Twisted Fate, but you'll be able to find windows of opportunity. Now, again, is Kisei that player? Are Chiefs that team? We'll find out this game, because this is going to be a statement game, and we'll really see where Chiefs are at with this draft and composition.
It kind of really cements the point that Draco mentioned tonight, right, about practicing new styles and trying out different things, because you look at Kisei, right, and as you said, mechanically gifted. Not the kind of guy that I imagine is going to want to sit in lane as a Twisted Fate and just use his passive, right, the load of dice to get some gold. I'm imagining level 6 instantly, I'm hard forcing. We're doing something, we're making a play happen, right? The fact that Swaif gets the cane, really very keen to fight very early on, right, to try and accelerate that red or blue form. I'm excited for this game. It's certainly going to be one that should deliver, because there is aggression from the bot lane once again. Another one of these trundles, a pick that we were expecting to see more and more as it's started to get played overseas. And Parbu, back to where it all began on the Viego.
The Trundle support has so much value in this game, because your Subjugate actually makes Camille one-shottable, like no joke. And I've done it against Kimmy. When will I learn?
Well, mate, it's always seamless when we're together. I love your time. But I also like talking to Charlie as well, because he's a man with many things to say, and especially to close out day number 1 here for the final week of the LCO. Charlie, talk to me about this week, how the boys been preparing. Obviously, we're seeing teams start to showcase a little bit of flair on a brand new patch. What's been the focus in practice?
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of bringing our season to a close now, finalizing all our picks for the patch. You've see a couple of new ones for us this week, like Ashe, Trundle, Mordekaiser. I don't think we played any of those 3 champions in the positions that we're playing them this split. So definitely taking a lot of inspiration from like LPL coming to a close as well. And yeah, the meta's changed a fair bit, so a bit of adaptation to be done, but we're pretty confident on these picks right now.
And talk to me a little bit about last week, right? You know, a 10 win streak. It looked like, you know, one of the highest in the world, actually, for LoL Esports. And then, you know, Order come up against you, had a strong performance and sort of were able to, you know, crumble that down. Was that, would you say it's a tactical, I put in quote marks, a tactical defeat to try and sharpen the mind and say, all right, you know, best of 5's on the horizon. You know, we need to try something different.
I mean, I'd love that were the case. Unfortunately not. We have messed up in both the draft and the game. We have come into that game not unprepared, but a bit sort of disrespectful towards what our opponents can play. I'll just come out and say, like, Puma is not a Varus player, and he's just picked Varus. So we didn't really expect him to pick Varus. Bit of an oversight by myself in that respect. But yeah, players have tendencies. And then we kind of just lost the game in a really weird manner. So partially we have to try and take accountability for the loss and really implement learnings for the next weeks. But at the same time, in terms of maintaining confidence and momentum, we have to brush it off, right? We can't like think, oh damn, we lost to Order. We have to win all our matches now to get first. No, like we have to just keep our head focused on like the next game in front of us, and that's what we're doing today.
And on a final note, before we crack on with this one, what have you made really of Chiefs' sort of difference, right? You talk about the fact that Puma caught you off guard. What about Kisei playing a Twisted Fate? Doesn't seem like a pick that really springs to mind for a mid lane matchup for him.
Yeah, we didn't really prepare for that at all, to be honest. But that being said, I think they have a couple of immobile champions versus Trundle. I think Mordekaiser does quite well. Like post 6, they can't really do the Camille Twisted Fate ulti top because Mord will just take someone into the realm and usually take someone out with him if that happens.
Yep.
But yeah, I think if this Twisted Fate gets rolling early, he can definitely pick sides later. But if he doesn't get rolling early, I have Chaz on Victor, and he will be 10 CS PM, and he will be killing everyone.
Well, I believe you, because we've seen it happen before, mate. I appreciate your time as always. It's always a pleasure to yarn and get your thoughts and feelings on this one. But we'll crack on.
No worries. Thanks, Jimmy.
Well, Jubes, it's probably one of those weird situations where we come out of a interview and it hasn't been a first blood, but instead a pause.
Yeah, we're probably used to that by now too, right? I mean, if you live in Australia or in the oceanic region, sometimes the internet gets the better of you. And it may not even be internet.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know at this stage, do we? So we're just speculating, but it seems to be the common common denominator that OS Internet isn't always always the best. But was there anything so early on into this one that you sort of spotted out during that interview that sort of really caught your eye?
Nah, not really. The thing that actually caught my ear was that, like, Peach is very honest, or Charlie's very honest as a coach.
Yeah.
And he actually says, like, you know, if it's a draft oversight, if it's a, you know, or if they weren't expecting something. And I really value that in an interview because it gives you a good insight as to, like, actually what goes on when you're thinking about drafts and when you're preparing for a team. Because, again, no matter how much preparation you can do, there's always something that can slip through the cracks. It's just good to hear, you know, hear his opinion on that. And seems like they really do learn when they lose.
And I always find it exciting because it's interesting to hear the different takes that different coaches, different teams fit, the different caliber and so on. How they all sort of square up and, you know, match those moments. We certainly saw them have a few harsh realities at MSI, but were able to tidy things up by the end of it, right? And seems to sort of be on the same trajectory once again. But this is obviously very early days, a fierce rivalry between these two. It is going to be a case of looking to battle out for the top of the table, as the head-to-head between these two teams so far is 1-1. This will be the decider.
Decider indeed, and the other thing I wanted to touch on too, Skimmy, was like the Trundle pick and how they have not you know, they have a few champs with 0 mobility, and I kind of agree with him in the sense that I think that the Trundle is going to cause a lot of problems this game, and I don't know if Chiefs are going to have the answers for those problems, so we'll have to wait and see. But I get really hyped up when we see a new pick. Trundle's not a new pick. Oh.
Not a new pick, but certainly in this position. But it is funny as a success so far, isn't it? It's been a bit of a nuisance, and it's cool to see that. I mean, if you look at the match history for Decoy, it literally has been Leona times 10. So
yeah,
we'll get to see how he looks to path, because he has been very, very keen to hit a reset and roam topside and look to force a fight. What he can get accomplished here on this Trundle.
I mean, Trundle is kind of the same in the sense that what a Leona offers, right? If anything, you have less reliable CC, but you have longer range CC, right? Like the pillar is so, it's an instant flash. Like you have to flash. Like the slow is too much. You have to flash. So again, maybe we'll see that open up top lane, because if Mordekaiser gets ahead, like it's actually a very hard lane for Camille. Very hard for Camille to play, but you know, current state, you'd have to say Livdy's doing a pretty good job.
Let's see how long it holds out that way for. Could be an explosive matchup, especially when they both hit that break point. Out comes the Destiny. This is what we expected to see. Hextech ultimatum. Can he hit the ultimate? No, he can't, because he doesn't have level 6. He can't take you into the realm of death, but what he can do is survive a potential first blood.
What's hilarious about that play that they just made was there's a third of an EXP bar away from that play being impossible. Fire Panther just had to survive and wait for the wave to come in, and he walked up, you know, 1 or 2 minions too early and got punished for it. Again, he didn't die, but he had to burn his flash, had to burn his teleport, and, you know, when he has the ultimate next time around, he may still even die, because that flash is really valuable for when he comes out of the death realm.
I wonder how that's going to affect things now, whether or not the Chiefs do look to try and pop their head in topside again, and even just chalk it up and say, sure, take us into the ultimate realm. I'll be waiting outside here just to take you down regardless.
It's also a free reset too for Liv. He doesn't have to burn teleport now. He walks back, he can take some less than favorable trades if he wants to. If he wants to make top lane volatile, then you can just get Swayth up there, you can get Kisei up there, you can 3-man that lane. And to be honest, with the way that the map's been split, it really does look like that's how. Ooh, nice hook from Draku.
Fantastic hook there from Draku that locks in place Praetor. The arrow afterwards will not connect, and Praetor can then look to try and continue trimming this wave down, but he's dropped down to 50. Flash had to be used. And now another max range hook as Draku continues to find it. Really is the power of Nautilus. You lock them in place, hit the passive route, and a lot of damage to follow.
Yeah, Super Saiyan Draku today, huh? He's actually just landing some hooks through minions, weaving them around. Playing this lane extremely well. I mean, even early on when we panned away from bot lane, we didn't really touch on it, but he still landed a couple hooks. And that's Ashe with no flash. Yes, Cleanse is available, but you best believe the next Twisted Fate ultimate is probably going to be down there in the bot side. Ashe no flash.
It will be another one of those poke variations of the Varus. Being the only version that Mboma has played the Halo Blades. Not gone for the lethal tempo on hit style. going to be looking to be a bit of a menace to allow the rest of his team that are going to be the ones looking to go on here and get rowdy about it to seal the deal and claim the kills. The Swaif will start things off here on towards the Dragon. Libda's going to protect top side to prevent a Rift Herald flip. Probably going to ultimate into the Dragon Pit and then flash on out, which is a weird set of circumstances. And now Chiefs, with Lived here forcing a TP, was potentially looking for the hard force.
I mean, that's a... Like, overall, it's a win for Chiefs, right? Because they get the Dragon, they get the Flash, and they burn a teleport. But in the context of the game and how top lane was actually going, you don't mind that if you're a Pentanet.gg fan, right? BioPanther got a turret plate, got some time to push the wave in, then all of a sudden, like, he's up CS now. So I think that's just like a little bit of a win in the sense of breathing room, but obviously in terms of Dragons and being able to get the soul point, you'd be crazy not to take that one as the Chiefs. But maybe a little bit of a preemptive teleport that didn't really need to happen from Liv.
It almost seems like two wrongs don't necessarily make a right, but Pentanet going to be, as you say, quite happy with forcing the play to try and steal it away, and then, you know, as a result, at least not walking away empty-handed. They claim that TP, so now they got the advantage in that regard because Bio will have his up available just a fraction sooner. But at the 10-minute mark, no first blood, nothing separating these two teams.
Nothing separating, but like we heard Coach Charlie say, you know, if this game just devolves into a 10 CS per minute fest, then he's going to be taking, you know, the composition of the Victor, the Viego, the Mordekaiser, the Trundle every day of the week.
Sure. Why would you not? You know what they can do, certainly with a few items under their belt. Very strong champions.
This is the other thing that they can do, right, the Chiefs. You know, if there's no access to kill Biopanther, which, you know, at this point I dare say there won't be, Camille can just leave the lane, find Parbu on his camps, and then get the teleport in from the Twisted Fate there, right? So you don't necessarily just have to tunnel and killing your lane, but this is a problem.
He might just get all in right now. He's having to try and run away from the storm of damage that allows Dracu to come on through and tag team in. Both supports now have roamed to mid lane. Two marksmen left at a lonesome as we toggle through all the different members of the Chiefs and see what they're up to. And in the end, Kisei will retreat.
Yeah, and I think this is why Twisted Fate is so hard to play and you need to be very good at him. Because if you blind TF, you just get control mage picked against you, like the Victor, like the Orianna, and soft counter, but the lane, like, you're always just soft losing, right? Like, as you see there. And so the window for you to find teleport plays,
well, they are going to force that ultimate once again. The Realm of Death this time will be there. As he's going to take him in. Now look for that 1v1 up against the Twisted Fate. And if he can sidestep the skill shots, there might be enough. Gold card coming out as he comes out, but he's still going to fall on down. They hand the kill across the Chaz. First blood to Pentanet. Can they find more kills as a result afterwards? Swaif toggling through terrain, preventing the re-engage.
It's crazy how good this Mordekaiser pick is into this composition. It is like the biggest brain pick because it's the least punishable weak side champion at level 6. Like, he's in a 1v3 for majority of that play, and he nearly kills 2 members, right? That's how strong Biopanther is at 0-0-1. So, I mean, it's not going to get better, right? Like, it is not going to get better, and Twisted Fate is not going to find a better time in lane with this Victor. Like, this is just, like, dangerous territory, and it's only 600 gold, right? Like, it's not panic stations by any means, but in terms of... Got ultimate? Yeah, it does. But in terms of how these drafts operate and their win conditions, you know, as a Twisted Fate, as a Camille, as a Kayn, you don't really want to be operating from behind at any point in the game because Twisted Fate is meant to generate you that cheating tempo and influence a side lane where you can get strong.
He was moments before that play. I'd be curious to see where he's at now. I'm sure it's a lot closer, if not actually now in PGG's favor. But regardless, the first mythic item will be completed. It will be the Divine Sunder here for Parbu. Be that much more apt to force those fights now and protect his top laner when required. But as you quite rightly pointed out, Ultimate is finding a lot of value. The question will be, though, what did Chiefs identify? And where do they turn their attention towards instead? As you said also, would they just hunt Parbu in the jungle, take more Kaios out of the mix, or perhaps this hard force to fight bot side?
Well, they have options, but the problem you run into too with this Twisted Fate is like You know how we talk about the Galio ultimate needing to be a high impact play like the first time around?
Yeah.
Because if you waste your first ult, you waste your second ult, then you slowly like, you know, dwindle into irrelevance. The Twisted Fate can have this same problem, right? Except Twisted Fate has a little bit better scaling in terms of being able to hit side lanes and take turrets down and not actually participate in team fights. But you really want to, this next ultimate or this next window where Kisei gets to roam is crucial. Like something needs to happen or it becomes almost panic stations because you start to really get bullied out of this 1v1 in the mid lane. Like it's 20 CS lead already, couple turret plates.
It might be more, because look at this. This is a 5-man pinch from PGG to take down these turrets, then to summon the Herald as well, and ensure that Kisei really is going to have it easy in this mid lane. Without the protection of that tier 1, going to require Chiefs to try and back him up. Out goes the stun, but there is a cleanse available for Chaz to get himself out of harm's way. Damage has been done, and the second dragon has spawned.
Cleanse is an expendable summoner spell too, right? Like the cooldown is just so short that you're able to play around that window, right? You're able to play around like waiting for it to come back up, and I mean this 1v1 topside is going to really favor Biopanther at the moment. Like there's one full item completed.
Can't imagine Lived is too far away from completing his though. Have to see where Swaif's at in terms of that red or blue form. You imagine it is going to be the red form this game, given the Conqueror and the Gorge Ranker. So looking to be a bit of a tank and hit some knock-ups and be a bit of a nuisance in those team fights. Be very hard to try and take on down without some grievous wounds.
Yeah, this is my concern here. Like the game state is stable for Chiefs, right? Like it's only 1k gold lead.
Oh no. Guess they.
That turret's just gone.
The Danny Decoy special, isn't it? You just hit one pillar and say you can't play anymore.
Yeah, that's flash burnt and turret gone and 20 CS lead, or yeah, 20 CS lead over to Chaz. And again, it's only 2k, but relative strength of compositions and where they want to be and item breakpoints, it's like you have to say it's favoring the PGG more and more if the game continues in this trajectory. Oh, might be Praetor dead though.
Could be, as Praetor will have to flash away to the protection of his turret. Damage is there. Certainly not enough for him to feel too threatened, as Pabu now is going to be forced upon. Nice Hextech ultimate him to follow her across that turret. A flash away, but a Kane hits you with the ultimate, slicing you down. A battle of sustain, as now Swaif cops 3 turret shots. An arrow from base will not connect, but Swaif is now hoping for that E cooldown to come on up so he can look to try and juke on through. Hit the flash, surely it's there! But the Realm of Death spoils the party, and it doesn't matter what he tries. The kill is secured. Yeah,
he's not playing games. Biopanther did not want to risk Kane getting out of that one. He's such a slippery champion, and you have to say, overall, like that play is probably worth for the Chiefs, right? Swaith picks up a kill, gets closer towards his form. Bit of a minion wave lost topside for Biopanther. Not a huge win by any means, but little one. Especially if you want your Kane to get form, right? So it is the red Kane.
Yeah. That's what you'd imagine, as we said, given the setup here, and certainly could be very strong.
There we go.
Producer and spectators smurfing as always.
Yep.
It's very cool, calm, and measured by Chiefs' account, you'd have to say, right? Because whilst PGG have certainly improved their early game from the start of the split to where they are now, they've always been known, you'd have to say, as the late game team.
Yeah.
But Chiefs have always been that team, much like Legacy, that will, at 15 minutes, they're up by 5k or it's doomed.
Yeah, I agree. But you have to say then, you know, if you're PGG and you're only you're 1k ahead in the early game or 17 minutes in now, where does that leave Chiefs in the conversation? Because you would assume that PGG are only going to get better and stronger as it kind of goes into, I guess, their strong point of the game.
Well, they don't need to really force anything right now. Not going to be too concerned about any early soul point, that's to say, with one shared between the two of them. And now the side lane setup will truly begin. And this is where I'm interested, right? Given the fact that Chaz has opted for the cleanse, won't have the TP to match Kisei. So there's a small window, very small window, in which Chiefs can force the numbers advantage if they do stay set up like a 1-3-1.
I don't know about you, but like, is Ash just satisfying to watch?
I think that's a very clean auto attack animation, right?
Yeah, like I love watching her just fire off those rocks, those little arrows. And the sound, I don't know. That just came to my mind as I was watching her auto and minions.
Pretty convinced that sometimes, you know, even though the skins don't affect you at all, the animations, the way they play out, the sounds that go with them, just makes you feel like you're playing better.
Well, as far as I'm aware, Project Ash does make you play better, from all reports.
Oh, they want a bit of a project this time as the arrow goes out, but a flash away will deny it. Draco was the target. Now the Destiny comes through with TP to follow, but the rest of PGG have already disengaged way back to that turret. Can they find Pablo on the flank? Yes, they can. Everfrost stun, ultimate, Hex Tech Ultimatum. That's the name. And the play to follow afterwards will be Pablo falling on down. So Chiefs forcing their hands and not being left empty-handed, but they're looking for another kill right now. This is what I meant before. Chaz is not there. He has no TP. So as a result, Chiefs find a small moment and capitalize by taking down 2.
That's a mega misplay from PGG there. I mean, Pabu just went back in. When we get a replay of that, you'll see him. He uses the Viego stun and actually stuns towards his death. Chaz has no access to get there, but that's just a very good pull of the trigger from the Chiefs. They know Chaz has no teleport. They're using their globals and they're using the mobility of the Camille to actually influence that fight. So again, that's just a very good heads-up play and a hard force from the Chiefs, right? So it's a good disengage initially, and Pabu buffers the stun there. Okay, they burn the flash. Now you think he's out here, right? But look, he dashes forward. And Biopanther just kills himself, taking them into the death realm. So he gets hooked by Draco, who's having a blinder, and he just gets picked up as well. So again, in that instance, it's a good force from the Chiefs, and they force PGG to make those decisions. But
the game's all squared up again, and 20 minutes right on the dot. We come out of a replay, back to some action, which will quickly dissipate. But it's much to your point there. PGG maybe feeling quite confident to turn things around.
Yeah, but you can't do it when you're 1 or 2 members down, so. And again,
they're just running this play back and forward. No RFC required because Kisek can still hit it. The stun from bot jungle does connect, and that deters Sway from finding this one anymore, but Draco looks to try and take a decoy, then gets TP collapsed upon. Blast Cone finding himself into a mid-tier 1 that has just destroyed itself as well. Now they are all grouped up. PGG are fragmented, but members of Chiefs are so damn low. And this is Ash just rattling off the arrows, locking you all down and turning things around.
I mean, the fight looked good for Chiefs initially, right? But then, you know, once they got that pick, they tried to commit, they tried to win the whole team fight. Chaz was untouched. Biopanther teleported in and got backline access, and it's a disaster. If the Mordekaiser and Chaz, or Mordekaiser and the Victor have backline access, you're absolutely not winning that, especially in a choke point. 3-man Chaos Storm, next to impossible with Ash rattling away that damage too. But one of those ones. Decent enough pick from the Chiefs, but tried to bite off more than they could chew.
We'll run it back with a replay, I think. We will?
Yeah, we will, but I got to the replay here, right? Decoy kind of gets picked off, ends up surviving on the back end. Pabu they turn their attention to, so then they try and disengage, but they've just disengaged into a Chaos Storm, into damage coming out of the Victor, into the Ash. QSS cleanse. But the one thing I was laughing about before we went into that replay was we talked about every single game tonight the junglers were smurfing, and we said this game will be the one where the junglers just int. And Pabu 0-3-2, Swaith 1-2-2, and it's just a complete polar opposite.
Yeah, after a whole night of jungle performances on either side, you know, right? Like, even the team that's not winning is still playing out of their minds. But this time they said, look, you know, enough is enough. And whilst it has been blue side that's won the game, it's not going to be the case here today.
I like what Chiefs are doing though, right? You know, they know their win condition for their composition. They're not opting in for just straight 5v5, right? They're not trying to win a 5v5 front to back because they know their draft can't do it. They're trying to use the Twisted Fate ultimate to find the pick first and have Camille collapse from a side, have play around jungle wars where Swaith can do what he's doing right now, play in the walls.
Oh no! I see what Draco was looking to try and do. Hit the hook and buffer his body really away, even despite being stunned. Didn't quite have the angle. The flash is the trade-off, so he's burned that now. And PGG pretty much found everything they needed.
And there's so much CC coming out of the composition of Chiefs that Decoy actually went for steel plates as opposed to, you know, the Mercury treads. The reason I looked at that was because I saw how long he was CC'd for. Like, he could not move at all for that whole period of time, and he's the one that nearly fell down.
He was very keen, though, still to force this fight. The Destiny again comes out. Decoy's the target. A stun trap goes on out, and it means they can't do anything about this one as Liv comes on through from the mid lane. But he can't find a target to Hexagon to main him because the Realm of Death is active so far. But it doesn't matter because the fight, they found themselves a kill on towards the Praetor. The Ashe is gone, but the turnaround once again. Unless Chiefs can find multiple kills, they just get turned around on.
Oh, Pabu used the Kane passive to get through the wall and gap close in Boma. And that kill is crucial because what that means is that's Baron going down now. You know, maybe Mboma could have fended them off, thrown over so much poke and harass over that wall, but Swathe actually dying to Pabu means Mboma just gets run down there.
Couple of skirmishes like that, and PGG have taken full control of this game. They're up by 2k. We heard the conversation before about them being quite content to scale on through, but you know, this is Destiny after Destiny being forced, but for very little impact, you have to say now.
Yeah, but this is the wrong way, the wrong time to do it, right? Because look at their side lanes. You have a 1-3-1 composition, and you take fights on your own accord. But look, there's no one matching sides. Like, when you want to pull the Destiny is when Chaz is in a side lane. Now, one time they had success doing it. You know, we saw how it worked. But now they're kind of just forcing that little bit too hard, and you really, you can see that Chiefs are just feeling the pressure, right? They know the win condition of PGG is just popping its head up. You know, Chaz on 10 CS per minute, 2-0 and 5. They're forcing fights that are less than favorable.
Another pressure, plenty of pressure. Either ends really on the table, be it first place or last place, deciding which teams will qualify for playoffs and which team will be able to walk away with the wooden spoon here. And I suppose really for Pentanet, they're really hoping for that victory so they can outright claim and say that we are first place in this league. They don't want any crazy tiebreakers. They don't want any weird shenanigans to discuss as this whole sort of relationship between Pentanet, Order and Chiefs and who really is the definitive strongest team in the region. But I'm curious to see how this all plays out because PGG now up by 3k with a Baron buff can siege very effectively, with Chiefs still sticking to mid lane.
If you need to analyze game state, and it's only 4k, but if you really need to figure out how the game is going, you just need to take stock in the mid laner's level department.
Yeah, 3 level lead, I mean, it's crazy, right?
That's just wild. Like, the Chaos Storm is absolutely going to one shot. Like, you cannot play team fights where Chaz gets his... like, theoretical world where they one-shot Chaz, he still gets his Chaos Storm off. The Storm still sits there, right? So you actually just have to disengage completely, because it's going to do so much damage. But this is what Chiefs should have been doing all game.
Yeah.
Like, using their 1-3-1, using their global ability to attack side lane, and if you can't attack side lane, then attack the group when it's answered. So in this instance, right, where PGG are on this bot wave, maybe you can look for the Mordekaiser, maybe you can look for Chaz, but not when they're 5-man in the middle of a lane.
Well, price has been paid of an inhibitor falling on down, and Liv will do whatever he could in that occasion to pressure out bot lane. I suppose really for them now, Jubes, they're playing for a soul point more than anything. They know that they can claim that in 2.5 minutes. They just got to hope that they can hold out here because PGG are grouped up, forcing a 1-4 now, and looking to undo all the work that Liv had just achieved.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're the Chiefs, like you probably can't contest the next few Dragons, right? So all you're really hoping for is finding a pick in the side lane, and hoping that can just kind of spiral into some turrets, maybe into an inhibitor. But in terms of just forcing that dragon and being able to contest, a 5v5 or whatever you want to call it, it's probably going to be a little bit too hard because even the damage from Mboma now, like, he hasn't had a bad game. Like, if anything, Dracu and Mboma had quite a good laning phase. The damage just isn't sticking anymore.
So much damage going out onto Dracu, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow afterwards. Just enough to say you need to go back to base now. So it's a 4-member strong base defense here from the Chiefs, still trying to wait out this Baron, which has now gone. And Mboma hoping to do whatever he can here with these arrows. Needs to be hot in the money. Gone for the Serpent's Fang, and now that is a fight that Chiefs are fighting on their doorstep. They've got in, and they've removed Chaz, the biggest member of this roster for PGG. Can they open the floodgates and find more right now? As Lift is locked in place, he goes golden, and as he comes on out, gets smacked by the mace of a Mordekaiser. A 1-for-1, but when he's got your stats, it's just so hard to try and deal with. And some wild cards can go on through, but they won't do anything as Pabu's going to jump into your base and try and seal the deal on this one. 2 members left standing here for the Chiefs, but their base is in shambles.
That is absolutely your best case scenario fight because Chaz didn't even get a Chaos Storm off. But, you know, when we go to that replay, the one player that I really want to highlight is Praedyth. I mean, if you watch Praedyth kiting on that back end, I don't know how many people actually paid attention to that. That was just fantastic. Like, that was just micro to a T. And this actually might be a nice pick-up here from Kisei. And Pabu's just having a real fun game at the moment.
It's a utility Viego, you'd have to say. Maybe finding a few resets, becoming a different champion for a second, and utilizing it for the rest of his team to have all the fun. But as you say, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll get a replay in a second, but the fact that a level 16 Chaos Storm cannot be used?
No, he doesn't use it. It's such a good engage from Dragku. Like, he, again, finds the engage. Watch Praedyth here. Look at this auto space. Like, he's trying to auto space the best he can, but he's never stopped moving or auto attacking. Obviously, the flash looked a bit Pepega there at the end, but I mean, that was just so good to watch. I mean, because Ashe has no mobility whatsoever, so it's just pure kiting. Like, you love to see it, to be honest.
I mean, it just felt like a Cogmore clip, really, didn't it? I mean, it was just so clean, to a T, not missing a beat. And,
didn't cancel an auto.
No, and that's exactly what I mean, right? That's all you can hope for when you get high attack speeds. AD carry, right? I mean, you got Immortal Shilbo, Witset, and Ginsu, you're just doing whatever you can to try and shred whoever's coming at you.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess the one thing to take away here from the Chiefs, right? If you know, it is only 4K. You know, for some reason, or not for some reason, but at least there's a reason that this gold lead isn't ballooning out, and they're able to maintain within touching distance. And the one sign for me of a good team is that when you're losing, you're still making the game hard, right? It's not a blowout. You're losing team fights, you're losing inhibitors, you're losing turrets, but you're still within touching distance, right? And so this game could, honestly, at any point, turn for the Chiefs, particularly, you know, we saw the engage from Dragku onto Chaz. Like, if they're able to find that fight again, and then on the back end, maybe they're able to pick up Praedyth next time, maybe we'll be talking about a different game. So, again, Chiefs showing a lot of maturity to actually hang in this game, and it's not a complete blowout.
I mean, they're certainly not just rolling over and conceding, are they? They're definitely looking to try and continue to force those same plays time and time again. And maybe whilst it took a little bit of time to try and play to the win conditions that you wanted to see, we are seeing more and more of those glimpses as, once again, Liv plays towards the bot side. He does have a TP, so, I mean, PGG now have to sort of count their decisions and say, well, how do we answer back to this? Because they're staying strong as a unit right now.
Well, and the thing is that Liv has 3 items. And so he can get a lot of work done in this side lane. Still not sure if he actually wins the 1v1 against Biopanther. Time will tell. But I mean, they're not even reacting. Like, it's just brute force.
It feels like today, PGG have had enough of the split push tactics. A second inhib that has been taken down. Top lane has just respawned, so it is still one wave for Chiefs to have to contend with. Lip's going to do whatever he can, but has to have a lot of communication now from his teammates as to where exactly PGG are.
This might not be a bad result. Like, if they break inhib here, this is way more worth for Chiefs just because of draft.
Well, there's the Destiny to give them that information that they needed. There's the Everfrost and the cards as well to try and prevent them actually getting a full recall. So they don't actually walk back to base, and they've traded inhibs.
Yeah, that's a fantastic result because, again, the most important inhibitor in the game is the bot lane inhibitor if you're playing for Baron, right? Because now they're going to generate super creeps bot side of the map, and they have a 1-3-1 composition with double teleport that ultimately can threaten end or threaten the Baron take. So whilst, you know, that was a decent enough call for PGG to push down mid lane and potentially take the inhibitor turret, that was just a really good response from Chiefs. And you have to say, like, maybe it's PGG overcompensating, right? They have the teleport on Biopanther. He is able to clear the waves under turret. He can't get dove by Liv. So, you know, Chiefs again are playing, I guess, the macro game at this point, and we can see how their composition wins and how their draft wins, but they just forced too hard, too early, and gave PGG such a lead.
Yeah, and as you said before, you know, still is a chance, despite it being a 4K lead for PGG, there is a chance still for Chiefs to play this one out, and I'm sure now Biopanther is going to be locked in that bot lane as the only TP on their side that he has to try and deal with this. I wonder if Liv can now look to try and force those 1v1 skirmishes, and you know, try and opt the fight to be Chiefs' favored as a result, because you definitely want your Victor here to hit that ultimate and single-handedly try and carry the game.
And this is kind of what I think should have happened initially on the first deploy, right? Like, you see Panther bot side here, just babysitting that wave. So, no danger for Camille ending this one.
There it goes out. Dracu's the target, instantly a flash forward, and he's just gone lights out, death ray, and deleted! A chain of corruption to try and deter any follow-up aggression, and I mean, I suppose it did its job because PGG don't need much more than that. They're just hunting for picks, and they're trying to break up the macro game that Chiefs are presenting.
To be honest with you, I'd almost love to see a TP here from Kisei. Yeah, I was going to say, TP bot side here, and call their bluff. Now stop their bases, right? Like, you've got Swade, enough mobility.
Yeah.
To be able to kite this one out.
Two-man knock-up. There's the arrows as well from the Varus. He's going to go golden for a second. Predator target. Swave knocking members up. They found one. They've removed Predator. They're looking for Pabu. Two of those turrets for the Nexus have already got away as well. And now, in the picture-in-picture, Chaz has come back to base and picked up a double kill, but not before the rest of PGG looking to force the fight here have fallen on down as a result. Biopepper's TP'd into the fight. It's just an absolute calamity of mismatches here where you're wondering what on earth is going on. A respawn as Draku comes back and looks to take down PGG's Biopepper. Multiple stopwatches, multiple stasis effects, but an outcome that the Chiefs are going to be very happy with.
That's exactly what I wanted to see from the Chiefs. And again, you can see how this composition operates. And the thing about the 1-3-1 comp or the Twisted Fate Camille composition is that if you're not decisive, you lose the game. And now guess what? Live this up in 10 seconds. Look at those minions bot side. This might be game. This could possibly be game. Swate is going to cancel the Victor base. That's gone down.
They're
Teleport
on to the base. Praetor is here, probably the best one to answer to this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Doesn't have a Hurricane, so I mean, he definitely can't shred through as quickly as he wants. I mean, doesn't matter. What are we on about? Who cares at this stage?
This is a very slow Baron though, and this is the problem your comp has. Your Baron take is just disturbingly slow. You have a Lethality Varus, Kayn, Nautilus, Twisted Fate, not a great Baron taking squad, but the problem that you have is, oh, the arrow.
Oh, this is hard. Arrow goes out, forcing out flashes.
Now, wait a minute.
Oh, they're going to collapse onto Praetor. He has a cleanse. Oh, just out of range there for the Everfrost. Hawkshot's going to keep an idea as to where he's at.
Live.
Ultimate forward, flash away. And this game, I mean, PGG, whilst they had the confidence to step forward and say, we don't care about a split pushing Camille, are now very concerned about a backdoor.
This is dangerous. This is so dangerous. This is just a tough game for PGG now, because not only do they have a composition that really can just hit a side lane to end the game, but you don't have any Nexus turrets up. So you make one mistake, you make one misplay, that Camille's going to end the game. And the hardest part about this is, like, it's a teleport on the Camille, but more importantly, you have the Twisted Fate ultimate, right? He can always just put on in 2 pink wards in his inventory, drop it, and you can just play for the end. So PGG are kind of in this awkward game where do we contest the Baron or do we wait for Inhibitor to respawn? Because with the Inhibitor up, you're a little safer, but I mean, at this point in the game, it's still going to get melted with the Sheen procs from the Camille.
Scary times as they now turn their attention back towards that Baron. Live this top side, grouped up with the team now, right? So
Destiny's up.
What's the play here?
Well, what Biopanther needs to do without teleport is he needs to sit on Nexus. Like, have a look at this. Destiny's up, level 16, is going to be very close to hitting base. And I mean, you just don't have any agency in this game anymore as PGG, because you ultimately have to almost give this Baron, because this is an end angle. Again, keep your eyes on Kisei. PGG's composition just wants to force, right? They want to force with the Ash Arrow or force a 4v4 or a 5v5. However, there's just nothing to fall back on. No turrets. Because when you play this comp that Chiefs are playing, you will lose turrets. You will lose maybe an Inhibitor in a close game, right? But ultimately, you finish the game. You win the team fight and you finish the game. But you have no safety net to fall back on as Pentanet.gg. There's no safety net whatsoever. The decision that you make has to be 100%, has to be guaranteed. And at this point in the game, it actually has to be the side lane that you attack. You can't attack the 4 anymore.
Well, Chiefs and PGG fans at home, how's your nerves? Because this game is certainly one where you're going to be biting your nails. And, yeah, well, as you say, there's the soul point picked up. Now, what's worth noting, quickly looking at the minimap, is there is a control ward in the PGG base to try and prevent a backdoor with a TP, right? So they really had to try and escort this one in with the minions to close this out. But it is an exposed base, you know, an exposed nexus, no turrets to prevent. So in a way, they don't really need minions. They could backdoor if the vision's there.
And here we go. This might be the play. Never mind. It gets blue. The blue ward spots him out. But I guess the other curveball here, Skimmy, if you want to throw another curveball into the mix, was into the Twisted Fate lane. Chaz had to take cleanse. Normally that's a Victor with the teleport, so you can actually answer the side lanes, right? But with the cleanse, you're down to teleport.
Yeah, this is my concern that we
Look at Camille.
pointed out so early on. Camille's hunting, looking to place down the vision.
This is a big win for PGG though, now.
Indecisiveness is killing both of these teams, right? Winner, constant state of limbo. Kisei has grouped up with the team. Out goes the Hawk shot, connecting once again to Draku, and Bomber going to fling out his ultimate to try and lock these members in place. Draku getting burnt down by the Chaos Lord, but a TP to try and back him on up. The Dragon, or the Baron, is still ramping on through with big damage, but out comes the piercing arrow. There's the gold card onto Decoy. Look at the damage from Chaz, though! That's disgusting! As he cycles through multiple stasis and actually times out of death ray, but it doesn't matter because this Victor is large.
What's going on? Bot side, Lift burnt, Flash burnt, ultimate. Death Realm got burnt, Viego ultimate got burnt. We didn't even see what happened there. And Swait is still in the mix.
Hookshot goes out, keeping tabs as to exactly where he is. He has a GA. Now PGG's turn to go into the Baron. They kill it far quicker. This one, melting like butter. Draku is here. He has no ultimate. He does have an Ignite. And Boma across the wall with a Flash cleanse ultimate. He can do everything he could. A 50-50 could certainly be in the cards right now. Both junglers are in the area. Looking to try and steal this one away.
Oh!
Chaz is so low!
You can't flip this. It's a 2-level lead.
Wow.
This game is just chaos, but it's not because the players don't know how to execute. It's literally just draft. It's draft and mistakes that led to your Nexus being open. And now the game has just devolved into chaos because Chiefs can't win a 5v5 at Nash. They can't win a 4v4. But also PGG can't win in the side lane. And we can see Mboma scratching his head and smiling because he actually knows what the current game state is. Like, he's having a very good game, but he's literally on harass duties.
Yeah, he's like, what is our job in this game? Like, actually, what is our win condition now? And I'm looking at Lived. He's just picked up the Hull Breaker, just got buffed. Nice bit of split pushing potential if he can utilize it. And maybe this is a niche situation where, because we have this weird situation of bouncing between bot and top to say, Baron, maybe you're the answer, but either team really being too keen to try and take it down. Hull Breaker could be the difference.
The thing that we see here now too, Skimmy, I mean, we haven't even taken stock of it, is like, Swait's like late game Kane. Like, Swait's online. Like, he has a 150 CS lead basically, 2-level lead. You know, he was pretty much non-existent for a majority of the game, but the way that this game stalled out and PGG's inability to close the game has really just made Swait such a threat. Last fight, Praetor had to burn Flash, so I dare say next fight Swait will be taking his head.
Looking for it with the ultimate. Liv's going in once again. The Realm of Death doesn't need to be used just yet, but the Hextech ultimatum goes on out. 1v3, he's looking to try and run away from this one, but Kisser comes in, backs him up. A cross-map arrow somehow hits the Twisted Fate, and that just completely diffuses the situation that Chief's looking in the 2v2. He may just be able to run away though, Juice. He's hunting the hookshot disengage away. And still, there's no answer.
It's just a perma 2v2 bot side. It is literally Pabu and Biopanther versus Kisei and Liv non-stop. I have to say though that Praetor's arrow potentially is a game changer, because if Kisei is able to get the gold card off onto Biopanther, he doesn't proc the shield, potentially just falls down on the back end. I mean, Chaz is probably wishing he took a teleport this game, right? Like 100%. This game, I mean, he can't hit the side lane like he wants to.
He has to literally play Chief's game, which is a weird situation to be in, given how strong individually this Victor was from laning phase to this point now. 6-1-8 compared to the 1-5-4, but that Twisted Fate is causing them problems.
Here we go, and this time, I'm holding my breath again.
Hook shot out again, sidestep the arrow. Oh no, he's caught him, the follow-up. The stun from Viego, the ultimate to follow. The stun gold card Everfrost. And Chiefs once again are onto the Baron.
They have teleport, they have double teleport. Biopanther can make it there too, but the Destiny can threaten end.
Oh, max range took onto Decoy, but a stasis trap underneath him to prevent them following things up. And oh my gosh, A TP committed from both top laners.
Watch Kisei, watch Kisei. He can actually go for the backdoor, go for the end.
They're pinging bot lane.
Oh no, I think he's butchered his teleport.
He hasn't hit it. He has not hit it. The TP's gone on cooldown. The Destiny's gone on out. They found Decoy. They've removed him. Liv playing flanking duties, looking for it. Receives a volley to the head by Panther. He's taken him to the realm of death. He's looked to try and take out Kisei, and he has done so successfully. Now with the booster stats, looking to try and take out Swaith. The Baron is there, literally as an observer, watching this magic take place right here. Bio somehow survived.
Chaos.
Oh no! He's managed to heal. The W's just a little bit too strong, and the max range laser and Lift also survives. Oh my gosh.
Okay. It's Elder, Skimmy. It's Elder. We haven't even... It's Elder Drake spawning. It looks like there's no teleports up, no Destiny up. Kisei is dead. So they're going to trade the Baron for the Elder Drake. This is a win for PGG because now Black Panther will be able to answer the side. But again, with the composition that Chief has, they might be able to just stall this one out with the Baron. Baron is a longer buff duration as well. So if PGG don't end the game, it's too much to break down, Skimmy.
I mean, it really feels like these buffs are catering to both what these teams want, right? Because clearly Chiefs want a siege. Baron empowers that, whereas PGG really want to fight, and Elder empowers that. But we're in this really weird limbo for 15 minutes where both teams can't do either.
Yeah, and I mean, but now Chiefs have to play a volatile dance, right? Because they, before how they were dancing and trading in bot side of the map and no one was really falling down, you can't afford to have that happen anymore because with this Elder Drake buff, you will die, right? So you actually can't have a champion hit you. Ooh, that's a decent amount of poke though.
Yeah, we're starting to actually hit full item builds, aren't we? And this is where it gets scary because at this point in the game, you talk about scaling, that was the narrative from Charlie.
Look
the
at
coach
Camille.
of PGG, he will do damage. But look at Camille, he's been spotted by Vision. The pings go out, and instantly Bipepper's playing goalkeeper.
But surely Bio wins this with Elder Drake. Surely Bio wins this. But I mean, it's just so hard for PGG, and this is kind of the one, I guess, negative effect of Elder Drake. If you had to...
Oh! So I tell you what, I mean, Pradev has been so on point with these arrows. If that had been that, I mean, that would have been the play that delivered right there.
He's allowed to miss one. He's allowed. But no, so Elder Dragon, like the one, I guess, negative effect of it is that it doesn't buff minions. So if you have something like the Varus or a little bit of wave clear, it becomes nearly impossible to push an end, right? Particularly when the enemy composition has the Baron. So, I mean, then you just see Liv generating side lane pressure, you see Kisei generating side lane pressure, and you see Swaith potentially looking for the backdoor. I mean, this draft from Chiefs just has so much mobility and threat to end. It's just... Hang on.
Oh no, Liv, he's countered the recall, and now he's in Elder territory.
How long left on Elder?
Oh no. The Elder has 30 seconds left to go. He may just be dead.
Yeah, he's dead. Wow. This actually might be... This might be game because Liv was the actual only threat on Biopanther. Because now Kisei can't really win that 1v1, right? Like Bio is going to take him to the death realm and kill him. So Swaith has to be that guy now. You know that meme? Wait, you're not that guy, pal? You're not that guy, Kisei. You're not that guy, pal.
He really wants to be though.
He wants to be that guy, but he's not that guy. Trust me.
It's so crazy to me that Bipep has literally been AFK in his base for 5 minutes saying, I don't need to do anything.
Oh my God,
I literally need to prevent this. Ultimate goes out, does not connect.
You can't
hanging around. It's going to be another 2v2, but PGG are now mounting up with their 3-member strong here to try and take out an inhibitor once again and look to keep Chiefs locked in their base. We might actually have a situation where Livs respawns and can TP in.
Yeah, teleports are up, and this is kind of the dangerous territory again for PGG, right? Like they've just taken an inhibitor. We should be celebrating the fact that they've got that. But for me, the most dangerous part of this game is when Liv's TP is up. And it's up again, and PGG haven't done a good job in clearing those pink wards, right? Like, look at those pinks on the red buff and the Raptor camp, right? We need to keep our eyes on that. And, it's just...
I mean,
so
at this point, analysis seems to be out the window. We are literally, two excited boys watching a game of League of Legends transpire. It feels like solo queue gone wild.
You can't. There's not much to analyze in the sense that it's a game of chicken. It's just what can Lived and Kisei get done, whilst there's enough pressure put on by Mboma, Dragku, and Swaith, right? And then if they get engaged on, can they disengage and can they get the end? It's literally just a game of seesaw. And Lived.
Liv.
Lived.
What is this taunting?
They might be. I was gonna say Dragu might get caught here.
They were touching hands across the wall. What's wild to me is it feels like Chiefs, if anything, feel a fraction scarier, even if they don't actually go for the backdoor. Just the fact that they're not in vision. Instantly, PGG can't do anything.
No, you can't. We'll have a little bit of silence, a little bit of build up the hype again.
We need it, because this has been madness.
And Kisei's done a smart thing here, right? Because the game itself isn't going to be won through a death cap or like building more damage. But what the game's going to be won through is like a Leech Bane. So he's actually just opted in for the Leech Bane. He's going full side lane, full turret, full Nexus. Because ultimately, if this game gets won from Chiefs, it is just going to be through a straight side lane.
I mean, if this is a game ended by a backdoor, it'd be unreal. I mean, what a climatic way to end this game, given how convincing PGG were to start this one off, and the fact that Chiefs sort of come into this one mid-game and said, oh, we split push to win, and now in a situation where PGG maybe really upset themselves for not committing that TP to defend what was eventually an exposed Nexus.
Well, to be honest, I mean, and this isn't something that we say very often because we're talking about how good PGG were in the mid-late game, but the game is in this state because they got out-macroed. Chiefs had no business being in this game, right? Like, Lived wasn't strong enough to take a Nexus. That's huge. That's a big pick.
Big pick.
That's a very big pick. And that's a Destiny burnt again. Each time Destiny gets burnt for nothing, for nada, no inhibitor taken, like that's a huge win for PGG because now they can feel comfortable pushing down mid. Yeah. They lose that little bit of mobility. There's no teleport on Kisei anymore, right? So it's not a double TP threat anymore.
That control ward in PGG's base has been there for such a long time now. It's just causing headaches, right? Because PGG are playing off vision, also playing with themselves as a, you know, vision creator.
He's caught. This could be it. Look at mid lane though, they're pushing down mid.
They are. They're running it down mid right now. So the rest of PGG are coming to try and answer this and try and protect Biopen, but looking for Liv to hook shots away right into the arms of Chaz, who then flashes out of that one. Now they're going to go through the mid lane, but there's a turret there, a tier 2 to prevent them.
He's out.
He has disengaged away. But another Elder and Baron have spawned.
Look at the Elder. Swade's going for the Elder now. And Lived might look for End with teleport. Look at that pink ward that hasn't been cleared out. I don't know what he's going to do here. Swade.
Wanted to try and contest it, but PGG are there to back him up. It'll be a 50-50 smite battle.
Look at the teleport.
TPs. There they are, top
Destiny?
side. We're going to run in. They're going to try and end this game by backdooring this one. You'd have to say the Destiny to come in. The base is unprotected. They're running towards the Nexus. They're running to try and end this one right now, but in comes Biopanther. Kisei with the on-hit damage is looking to try and take this inhibitor so they can turn their attention. The arrow goes out. Hookshot goes in. A couple of auto attacks onto this one, and Chiefs can win this one. They're going to go for the Nexus and end this game. I don't believe it. They've done it. A backdoor where I'm lost for words. They're lost for words. And let's all take a chance to breathe.
I'm genuinely lost for words because the game, in my opinion, was in a state where Chiefs had no business in winning, but through just really good shot calling and honestly, they had the balls to say, Liv, stay bot lane push while they push mid, and they let Liv open up that bot lane inhibitor, that Nexus turret. Like that's really what got them back into the game. Because as soon as you drop that inhibitor, drop that Nexus turret, you can't play the game anymore versus Twisted Fate. And that's what we saw from PGG. No matter the gold lead, no matter the gold deficit, they're able to just put that pressure on the Nexus.
Lost for words, Mac. Just take it away, mate.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm hoping you enjoyed that movie. It is not actually the interlude in the middle. That was the whole damn thing, the whole kit and caboodle. 50 minutes of fun. And I hope you all enjoyed it, because I certainly did. Watching the standoff is essentially what it was for about 20, maybe even 30 minutes there. You know, there was just so many just moments where one team was going to go, like even the first time that they tried to flip that Baron, it got down to 3k HP, and then PGG was like, nah, I don't want to risk this one. How about we just back away? And they didn't go for it. They didn't take the risk. They didn't let Chiefs in with a shot in that moment. But then Chiefs kept on forcing for the shot. They kept on running it down the side lanes, trying to find that opportunity. And then right at the end, you could see that Lived and Kisei, even though the Elder buff was on PGG, they're like, you know what? If we kite this well enough, if we hit enough objectives at the right bloody moments, then we can make this happen. And guess what this means? That means tomorrow is still very interesting, because Chiefs now just brought this one back to a 3-way tie at the top of the table, and if I remember correctly, Chiefs now have the head-to-head against PGG,
I
don't
believe
they?
do. Yeah, I believe they do.
Woo! Well, League Ops just started shaking their heads saying, what the hell do we have here?
So what
we're
actually
hoping.
happens now?
I don't know. Well, there's still another day of games, so anything could really happen. I don't even remember what... Okay, so none of them are versing each other. A little birdie called Nat told me in my ear, which means that there is a chance that they can all win and they can all still be head-to-head. Or someone could, you know, maybe trip over their left foot and it not go their way. We still could have a two-way tie, but this reality is just getting exciting, isn't it? Because that was a game that went for 50 minutes. You don't see them too often here in the old League of Legends, but when you do, it's a damn good time. Pentanet had the 3K gold lead, and they still couldn't get it over the line. Maybe the Infernal Soul was just, or the Air Soul rather, Cloud Soul, that's the one. It was a little bit too much to deal with there. I don't know, did the Cloud Soul synergize well with the team comp, you know, going for those split pushes, being that little bit extra slippery? Could that have had any influence, or was it literally just all macro at the end, Juice?
I'll be honest, man. Most of that game's a little bit of a blur for me. So in terms of was the Cloud Soul effective, definitely. Every time you pop Destiny, it's going to give you that little bit more move speed. Hey, you know what? The Nexus was what, 1 or 2 autos away from being saved to being dead. So potentially that Destiny the move speed, getting him there quicker, won them that game.
Certainly could have.
No, facts. It's facts. I've ran the numbers. Seriously.
And the fact that the ultimate's off cooldown quicker to keep threatening that play. Oh, man.
True. I mean, it's going to be a short cooldown late game anyway, but to be honest with you, man, to break that game down, we probably need 3 hours. We need a lecture room. We need a university. And I do know some people, so if we do want to break that down and we do want to get to a university, we can make it happen. Maybe a watch party.
Even if it's to university to do a bit of study, I'll do anything to get out of my house right now. So please take me down to Melbourne and we can chat all you want. Now, Nat, you are someone that has probably gone to university, as far as I know.
Yeah,
you
I have.
So you're very smart, intelligent person. But do you have another smart, intelligent person or just a hyped up one down on the sidelines?
I'm hoping it's a combination of both, and maybe I can extract some of that knowledge out from them. But I am going to be joined by Infoma, and I've got to say congratulations on what an insane game that you guys put on tonight, but also for tying it up in first place. You now have a 3-way tie. How are you feeling about that game?
I'm feeling great, honestly. My heart's still beating. That game was really wild. I think we made it a lot harder than we needed to, and I think Pentanet, sort of being the experienced team, definitely showed in that game. We weren't experienced, and we didn't close it out cleanly. But I don't know. I think this is sort of why we play the game for these kind of games. It's just, I don't know. It feels awesome when you win.
It absolutely was so, I was so entranced, I could not stop watching this game. It was amazing. But you say that you guys probably made it a little bit harder for yourselves than you needed to be. Can you explain that a little bit more for me?
I'll be honest. We had a lot of people talking, and everyone had their own idea of how to win, and there was a lot of different ways we felt that we could have won the game. I think we picked the most hype way to win in the end, canceling a recall and backdooring the Nexus. I think that's really fun. But I think as a team, we're probably going to spend a good hour or so reviewing our macro and figuring out, okay, how do we do this cleanly? Because if we want to win the whole thing, I think we need to close games like that out cleaner. But I'm definitely, very excited that we won.
Yeah, I can imagine. I want a little bit more insight as well about that split push. Lived getting the tower down and the inhibitor down on bot lane. Firstly, that call, and then obviously, secondly, the call to just, I guess, run for the Nexus and end it there.
I think it's a play we were calling for a while, and you probably see a lot of Pentanet 5-manning back and forth, different quadrants of the map, trying to figure out how we're going to get into their base once the Nexus was open. So I think in the end we finally got it, but I think that we probably could have won the game through other ways. There's a lot of times I feel like we could have got Baron as well when we didn't. But I don't know, in the end it was a fun finish, but yeah, it's definitely not a clean game from us for sure.
It doesn't matter if it's not clean, at least it was extremely entertaining. You did mention Baron quickly, and that is one of the last questions I want to ask you about is the Baron and the Dragon, including the Elders and things like that. I guess a little bit about the communication for that, but also the fights that occurred around Baron. There were so many initiations that happened and then they broke off and you guys were looking on top and then PGG were kind of getting in there. So yeah, I want to know a little bit more about that.
Okay, so we felt like Victor in particular was pretty strong in that game. Like Chaz was really fed on Victor, and we wanted to be pretty like non-committal, I guess. We didn't really want to give Victor what he wanted, and I'm playing Varus, like I outrange him and killing him from off the screen. So I think we're sort of in a back and forth between wanting to backdoor the Nexus, and also those times and windows where Viego was showing bot where we should have done Baron, but we didn't. So I think it was sort of like split calls. I think a lot of people were talking and then the game got a little bit messy, but towards the end we figured out like a way to win, and then we finally backdoored the Nexus. But I think there's probably other ways we could have closed. Yeah.
No, for sure. But I look forward to seeing what changes you guys make, and your game coming up tomorrow will definitely be an interesting one. But congratulations on the win tonight, and thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Nat.
There you have it. A crazy, crazy game, and you can see that it wasn't just one person's calling that got it over the line. The fact that everyone was having their 2 cents, everyone had different opinions on how to close it, means that that was extremely hard for Chiefs, because when you have so many cooks in the kitchen, following one order just has to be that hard. And the fact that they kept it together for so long and then managed to close it out in the way that it went, that's just crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Now, we need to talk about the player that delivered, and it honestly could have been bloody anyone that game. There was just so many things happening. But, of course, the DoorDash player that delivered was your boy Lived, who did make that back door happen, but also was the man that took that bottom inhib that I was told by a bird. Was it you, Skimmy?
Yeah, mate.
What's hilarious is he's the player that delivered 1, 3, and 5 with like 50% kill participation, but you kind of just had to be there to experience it and watch the game to realize how big of an influence he played in that game. I mean, everyone on the Chiefs obviously had a standout performance because, well, okay, it was standout later in the game. It was a bit of a rocky early game for the whole team across the board, but you know, to be able to win the game through side lanes, win the game through macro, it's obviously a team performance, but Lift was the one that kind of just brought him back from the brink.
And of course, he's not a jungler, so that's very important to change up who's getting the DoorDash player that delivered for the 4th and final player that delivered today. So good job, Liv. I'm sure this, I think, is his 3rd time player that delivered, maybe even 4th now, but
it's definitely so many. I'm pretty sure it's more than 4.
Well, he's had a lot of Subway.
He's going to get a Subway sponsorship.
A lot of Subway.
I should have. If I knew Lived was going to start playing a lot better, I would have invested in Subway stocks. All those footlongs and chicken fillets, man. I tell you what, I'd be a rich man right now.
So good.
Well, there is one more segment which you guys usually love, although I think you're a bit fried after that one. So I'm going to ask you anyway. So, player of the day, what do you think it is, Juice?
I know who it is.
Player of the day.
Oh, play of the day.
Play of the day.
Yeah, sorry,
we just did the play of the day.
Yeah. well, I assume play of the day is the backdoor.
Okay.
It's got to be from that game.
Yeah, like it's the backdoor, right? Or not?
If it's not that, I'm going for Claire's Baron Steal.
Oh, that was really good too.
Yeah, that's
anything
what I'm
else? Anything else?
I think it was,
do you know? Because you're saying anything else like we're all wrong.
Yeah, I'm saying it like that, but I had you fooled because it was, of course, the backdoor, the play of the day. Now, Nat, Jubes, you're both here. Bit of paper, scissors, rock if you want to take this, or does Jubes have it? Nat has it. Put your hand up.
I don't mind that. What do you want to do?
You go, Jubie.
All right.
This is it. It's Ruby
I'm just
Jubie
analysing.
Tuesday.
Let me just analyse. Let me just break it down. I've got to do the first one as a kind of walkthrough.
Yeah, roger.
Yeah, walk us through it.
Yeah, so just a bit of a nexus going down there. But anyways, we've got down the back end. Kizae's hitting the inhibitor. Knock, knock, knock. Lift is coming through the back door. And Biopenta can't get to him. Pavu's here. Kizae's going golden. Zonkers. Lift is just taking down the nexus. He's the player that delivered. Subway foot long. Chicken fillet. Make it quick.
Oh my god. That was so loud. I literally had to take my headset off and I could
Trust me, you think that was loud. You should see what happened to my screen.
Your mom's going to be walking in and she's going to be like, what's this about a foot long and a chicken fillet?
Yeah, do you want a napkin? Is it wet? Are you alright?
Whatever.
You need to give it a wipe? Nah, you good? All right,
it's alright. It adds a little bit of texture.
Was going in my mouth.
Go next.
Well, there you have it. Let's go next. What's the next segment? I think standings. Let's have a look at where everyone's sitting at the end of today. And what do you bloody know? Look at the top of the table there. There's three of them. 14 and 6. PetNet, Order, and Chiefs all tied. As, everyone's having to pull their hair out. If this stays like this tomorrow, it's going to be a damn interesting looking situation. I have no idea. We at least have the 5 teams that have made it to the playoffs after how everything's folded out. Unfolded, that's the one. But Nat, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I want to jump in here because Skimmy and I had a little bit of talk, I guess, about this indirectly during one of the breaks. But just looking at the standings, you have to sit here, and even though we know that Peace has got the last spot, Gravitas and Legacy aren't going to make it through anymore along with Mammoth, you have to look at these win-losses, and there is no way that your Gravitas, Legacy, and Mammoth that you're leaving this split not happy and not impressed with your performance. That is such an upgrade and such a massive improvement for all 3 of those teams compared to last split. They really stepped up. It is something to be so proud of. The fact that we didn't have our top 5 until the last week of this split is something as well. So, you know, big props to them. They've absolutely done it. But then you look at the top, we have 3 people tied for first. Again, nothing like we had in split 1. It's just a real testament that even though Gravitas, Legacy, Mammoth improved, so did everyone else in this league. And it just really shows looking at those 3 teams tied up top.
Yeah, doing a very damn good job. And you got to remember how close so many of these games were for Gravitas, for Legacy, for Mammoth, all throughout the split as well. So it's not all over Red Rover. They do still have one more game to prove their worth going into tomorrow. Speaking of the schedule, this is what it comes down to. So I'm kind of sad that the final game is Mammoth and Legacy, because that means that we're going to know what's happening. Maybe that one's just needed for the first 3 games, so League Ops can have a whole hour to figure out what the hell's going on. Are we going to have to play a couple of tiebreakers? What the hell is the situation? But here we are. All right, 6 p.m. Direwolves and Chiefs going head-to-head. If Direwolves take the... Okay, hear me out. Direwolves take the W over Chiefs. PetNet lose. Order lose. We've got a 4-way tie. What do you reckon?
Nah, not happening.
Not happening? Well, I'm throwing it out there. Okay, Gravitas and PetNet there at 7 p.m.
4-way tie.
And 8 p.m. Peace and Order, Legacy.
I want the 4-way tie just because I want to see Pete lose his marbles.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely lose his marbles.
League Ops
That
channel
would
will just
be
be on fire. Eh?
League Ops would be non-contactable for the next 5
You
weeks.
guys are so cruel. Pete's probably like
Next 5
this
weeks,
close to like
absolute
shaving his
shambles.
hair off, and then he's going to get a 4-way tie, and it's just going to be the last straw that broke the camel's back. He said, that's it. If anyone wants to submit that resume in Twitch chat, we might be looking for a new League Ops.
Yeah, he just said he quit in Discord. He's gone. He's done. So he's thrown in the towel. He doesn't want to deal with this. He's not even going to bother sitting through tomorrow. Anyway, to get to tomorrow, of course, we all have to sleep, because everyone needs a good night's sleep to deal with what the hell's going to happen tomorrow. Never thought it could get this spicy on the DoorDash LCO, but what do you know? What a great way to end the season. One more day of games. And boy, I'm ready for it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us for another fun damn evening, another 50-minute thriller, and we'll see you tomorrow.
The Baron is getting lower, down to 2,500, closer and closer to smite range. Will only be willing to go for the smite steal. It doesn't matter, because somehow, someway, Claire has stolen it. I do not believe what I'm watching right now.
You know, the only thing they can hope for is really shoving out the next few waves, top side and mid, so they don't lose the next turret or next inhibitor. But no way they cross here, Direwolves. No way they're opting in for this.
Uncrab? He's going for the false recall. He has the
Gonna
TP to
TP,
regroup up, but they've literally crossed the map inside the enemy base. Yeah, this is Legacy looking to try and force their hands. He hit the fate, sealed him up, just sealed his own fate. He's going to fall on down as Peace turn around and smack him to the head. It's Violet who picks up his first kill of the game. Now looking for a double kill, but bad with will deny. The kick, going onto Violet. Tom comes out, going to get side steps from. No CC to follow things up. Camilla looks to try and deny Tally on the backline. He's got a Dominus ramping and just collapses on through. Buff is the fate sealed. The ultimate doesn't matter because you're dead and gone. 3 members are down. It's a double for Mammoth. There's the Moonlight Vigil. Gravitum is going to lock him in place. Now Shinky hits the charge to try and knock himself away. Looks to try and buffer that, but the Moonfall comes on through and guarantees Quixote a double kill. Putting attention onto Goodo as he actually gets knocked back into Narnia. Where on earth is he going? Sapphire against the world right now goes Golden. Baits out the stopwatch as then the Moonfall comes on through, but more stopwatch and more damage to try and follow this one up as Gravitas looking to find those kills. But now they're jumping on through, looking to try and find those resets as Ben finds them. But that is a Goodo becoming unstoppable. A double kill. The base is unprotected. They're running towards the Nexus. They're running to try and end this one right now. But in comes Bio Panther. Kisei with the on-hit damage. Looking to try and take this inhibitor so they can turn their attention. The arrow goes out. Hookshot goes in. A couple of auto attacks onto this one, and Chiefs can win this one.